Well, it's said that the average American makes 35,000 remotely conscious decisions every single day. 35,000. So today we're talking about how to declutter the areas that make the biggest impact, not only in your home, but in your life too. Well, today I'm with my friends, Cass from Clutterbug, Dana from A Slob Comes Clean. Together we create the Take Your House Back course, but we're not talking about that right now. We'll talk about that later. But there have been some huge mindset shifts that I've made when it comes to my closet, and as we've visited, we have some really good tips and tools that will help you too, including what to do with toxic clothing. I've never even thought about it that way. If your clothing has been bullying you, then it's definitely time to move it out. So the number one mindset shift that I have made when it comes to clothes is that everything must fit my today body. So again, going back to this idea that we make 35,000 decisions in a day, when I walk up to my closet, I don't want to use my precious brain power on what I'm going to wear today. I want to know that every single thing that I'm looking at is an option for today. So we're going to talk about through some of our favorite tactics for decluttering it down to that point. Well, Cass, why don't we talk about toxic clothing, and then Dana's going to walk us through a great step-by-step process. If you're like, Dawn, I love this idea, my brain is so overwhelmed, Dana has some very logical, data-driven questions that are going to make it so much easier for you. So Cass, sometimes I feel like people think it's weird that I only have 20 pieces of clothing in my closet.
It is kind of weird.
It is a little weird. But do you know what I often think in my head then when people say that? Why am I the weird one? Why are we wasting our precious energy, especially in the morning, first thing in the morning, walking up to a closet and there's all this stuff everywhere and I'm like, I don't know what fits, what's clean, what am I gonna wear today? I can literally walk up to my closet, pick something out, know it's gonna fit, and just leave.
I mean, there's a reason like all the Steve Jobs, all the big,
right?
Yeah, they were doing it. They had a really simplified wardrobe. Mark Zuckerberg, I mean, the list goes on and on because it just stops decision fatigue first thing in the morning.
But I think a lot of us don't trust ourselves to get there. And something else that I've thought about a lot now too is you'll say, don't let your closet bully you. And how many of us walk up to our closet and we see the things that don't fit, that have tags on them, we've spent money on, and we have all these good intentions, all these fantasy self things. That is not a good way to start our day.
Yeah.
So when did you first start feeling like your clothes were toxic and your closet was toxic?
My weight fluctuates a lot. You guys know I'm up and down like a yo-yo. And I think I've always known my closet was toxic, but one day it just really hit me when I pulled out a shirt and I was like, no, my arms are flappy, I can't wear this, and I put it back, and then I pulled out another shirt and I'm like, oh, but my stomach pooch shows, and I put it back. And I kind of stopped in my tracks and was like, I feel like crap right now. I feel fat, I feel ugly, I feel depressed, and I didn't feel like that before I opened my closet.
Yeah.
My closet, my clothes are making me feel like crap about my body. It doesn't mean like I'm not happy with it, but the clothes were bullying me. They were name calling me. And then it was just enough is enough. Mm-hmm. I'm not letting inanimate objects talk to me like that anymore. I'm not starting my day off feeling fat and ugly and being insecure. And it changed the way I looked at my clothes.
Yeah.
Because I would pull something out and say, can I just put this on my body and walk out and feel freaking amazing?
Yes.
And if the answer is no, I'm not keeping it anymore.
Yes.
And for me, it's like self-respect.
Yes.
It's self-love. Mm-hmm. And my brain wants to say, well, maybe I'll lose weight, maybe I'll exercise, maybe it doesn't. Pump the brakes, bro. I'm not going to be that person tomorrow. And then tomorrow my closet's going to make me feel fat again?
Right.
Heck no.
Well, and I love, like Courtney Carver will say, just dress your today body. And I like that because most of us have things, different sizes we would love to be and all of that. But right here, now, today, I need clothes that fit and that I feel good in. And so we kind of have similar criteria. You're like, can I put it on and walk out the door?
And feel good.
And feel good. Yes, and that's my thing. Does it fit and do I feel good in it? And I really had to give myself permission to say, no, that is not that piece. This isn't. And I was the worst. And I know I'm not alone now. I would buy all these things that were like a size too small because I'm like, well, what's going to happen is then I'm going to lose the weight and then I'm going to have these clothes that are too big now. that never ever happened, but I still kept buying these clothes that were too small. What was I doing? Why did I do that?
We all do it. I would buy clothes that would fit me, but the fit wouldn't be right. Like I wouldn't try it on and I'd come home and I'd be like, well, I spent $30 on this. It fits.
Yeah.
But like my arm flap, it's very obvious, or you know what I mean?
There's just one thing about it and then you don't.
I don't feel confident in it.
Yeah.
I feel insecure. I feel embarrassed in it. So I don't ever wear it.
All right. So we're all going to agree from today on, you are worthy of having a closet where you walk up, everything fits, you feel good in it, you can get dressed quickly. So we're gonna invite Dana into the conversation. She's gonna walk us through some of her very logical questions that help us get unstuck and make progress, because we fully believe you can have this type of closet too. All right, so we're gonna head to the closet now and...
Okay, so you're coming to your closet with the mindset shifts that Cass and Dawn have given you, right? So you want to see your closet differently. But sometimes we get to our closet, and even though we have all of those things in our mind, it can be overwhelming, right? Like you see the closet, this is an Airbnb. These are some of Dawn's clothes and some of my clothes that we just brought. This is not what a lot of you are dealing with. This is not what I was dealing with when I was getting started, okay? So, or even now, let's just be honest. But when you walk in, even though you have the mindset shifts, if you find yourself shutting down, let's use the 5-step no mess decluttering process, okay? So the first 3 steps are basically the things that are obvious to you that fit what they were just saying. So we start with the trash. With clothes, that means like, wait, why did I keep the sweater that the puppy made a big hole in, but I loved the sweater and so it's trash. Those are the items that they're talking about. They're the ones that are like, you know what? I'm not letting my clothes bully me, so those are gonna go. Those are things I don't have to stop and think about. But
okay, I want to make a clarification, because you know what you say then. Well, but how I need clothes for when I garden or when I paint, so I keep all of my grubby clothes or my holy clothes, or I just wear them around the house. So
we're totally gonna get to that.
Okay.
We're totally gonna get to that, but before we get to that, you are going to get out the things that don't cause you to ask those questions. The reason is, if you come in and this closet is packed full, so you can't even reach anything, you can't access anything, the floor is covered, your reaction is, it's too much, I have no idea, but I do garden, but I whatever. So we're gonna get out the things that don't cause those questions first. Because then everything that leaves this closet with no emotional energy spent means that when I look at it again, after that item has gone in the donate box or the trash, if it's trash, please don't donate, trash clothes, right? Yep. But everything that goes in that box, when I look back, the space is a little less overwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay? Because it's that overwhelm that's causing you to fixate on the but. We're taking those away, all right? The 4th step is the decluttering questions. If I needed this item, where would I look for it first? You can use that in case there's other things in your closet that have been shoved in here and they need to go somewhere else. That's fine. But the 5th step of the decluttering process is what is going to transform your closet, okay? And that is the step where we say, make it fit. That does not mean shove it in, okay?
Yeah.
It means embrace the reality of the space that you have.
Yeah.
The closet that you have is the closet that you have.
Yeah.
Okay? So instead of thinking, how can I add a bar up here? And what about this thing that I saw on the internet somewhere and blah, blah. We're just going to say, this is the space that I have. The first step has 0 emotion because it's to consolidate. And that's put like items together. So what I'm going to do, without pulling everything out, is I'm going to say, okay, what can I put together here? Well, I'm going to put all my pink shirts together. So one at a time, I'm doing that. I'm going to put my blue shirts together. Simply doing that will always reveal to you more obvious donations.
Yeah.
Because you're touching every item.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you touch them, when you looked at it before, you were like, I like pink tops. But when you pull out the pink top, you go, oh, wait, no, this one actually has a stain. Because I have paid attention and I have touched the specific item. Okay.
Yeah.
So just the touching of it does that. But also, when I put pink tops together, and in my real closet, there's a lot of pink tops, as y'all know. When I put my pink tops together, then I realize, oh, I actually have 14 pink tops.
Yeah.
That is, and then it becomes easy to say, oh, you know what? Actually, now that I put them together, it's not just a pink top to me anymore. It's all my pink tops, and I don't wear these 7.
Well, and Dana, I love this because in a way, it's kind of like mini Marie Kondo. Now, Marie is known when it comes to clothing. She's like, pull all of your clothing out on your bed and like pile it up. And part of the logic behind that is she actually wants you to feel overwhelmed with how much you have and have this like reality check of like, wow, I have all of this clothing, so much of it I never wear. And so this is kind of a mini version. You get all your pink shirts together and you, like you said, you're like, oh, I didn't even know I had that many pink shirts, right? Now I'm putting it together and then I'm like, well, this one has the tags on it. So that's giving me some valuable data. Like, am I ever actually going to wear it? Like you said, this one has a stain. And so it's like a mini way of a reality check.
Right.
Of how many black pants do you have? How many pairs of leggings? How many this?
But I'm doing them one at a time. I'm not pulling them everything out because for me.
No, it's so less overwhelming this way.
Yes. That's why I have the no mess process, because I can stop at any time.
Yes.
Okay, that's everything to me.
You can still sleep in your bed tonight.
I can sleep in my bed. Y'all, I am so much more willing to get started when I know that I am not committing to a week-long project.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. When I know that I can do this, I can literally take 2 minutes to consolidate like I'm doing. And as I do that, I am revealing so many more obvious donations. It may not have registered to me that this item is bullying me until I touch it. But because I'm consolidating, I have to touch everything. And then I go, this one's a bully. Okay, so coming into it with that mindset is key. And then the process helps me work through that and act upon that mindset. Okay?
Yeah.
So once I have everything consolidated, okay, so all my like items, like colors, they're in groups, and I've generally gotten rid of more things that were easy and obvious and non-emotional to me just because I touch things. What if I'm still at the point where, let's pretend here in our fake closet, that everything is pushed so tight that they're in all these wonky angles and things, and that this whole thing is completely full. I have to make it fit, which again, does not mean shove it all in. Okay. What it means is I have to make this space functional. I am accepting the reality of this space. So I have to get rid of my least favorites until everything fits functionally, get-to-ably, all that. Okay. So that is another thing that lets me do this without emotion. Y'all, everything's a favorite for me. I mean, why would I have it if it's not a favorite, right? Like, I loved that item. I just have to say, okay, I love everything in here, but it doesn't fit. I would keep it, but I don't have the space, right? Like, it's just facts. It's beyond me and my decision making. So what's my least favorite? And there is something that happens in my brain when I say, I get to still call this a favorite, but I'm not going to keep it, because there's no space for it. And there is something about that that lets me let go of things. This was something with my husband and I. We were doing a video on our mug shelf, and he loves mugs. Like, they're all sentimental. And he said, I am willing to let this go because you were willing to acknowledge that it was still a favorite.
Wow, interesting.
Even though me letting him acknowledge that he loved it and not saying you shouldn't keep that, but him,
you've never used that.
But because he was allowed to say it was still a favorite, but acknowledge the reality of the space and, okay, well, if I can only keep this many, then this is my least favorite. That was freeing to him.
Now, I know what you're thinking, though. You're thinking, but I do have, like, sorry, Dana, but I do have some clothes I'm hoping to fit into again, right? So, Cass, we're going to talk a little bit about, I call it a time will tell bin. I don't know what you call it, but regardless, how can we set a limit to what we keep and make it okay to pack some of this stuff away? Okay, guys, what do we do with the clothes we want to fit into? Cass?
Yeah, my weight fluctuates a lot, so I do allow myself to have one bin, and I like the roll under the bed ones.
Yeah, you can also get those like canvas zip around things on Amazon. I really like those a lot too.
Yeah, and I like having it in the bedroom for me because if I come across something, I'm like, ugh. If it's not close, I'll put it back. But if it's close, I can just tuck it away and then I don't see it, so it's not a toxic bully, but it gives me peace of mind in case I do lose weight. I've got all these great clothes that are there for me.
Yeah, so the time will tell bin for clothing has made it so I was willing to go much further with testing out a limited wardrobe. Turns out I love it. I don't ever want to go back, but it did give me peace of mind knowing that those pieces, I would even put things in there that maybe fit, but they're just too dressy. A lot of us end up with more dressy clothes than dressy occasions to wear them to. So I'm like, okay, that's okay. I still want to keep my closet very streamlined, but I can just toss them in to this. I mean, at home I have a Rubbermaid tote. Throw it in. I don't keep it in our closet just because it's really small, but it's handy. It's easy to get to, and really, I don't find myself hardly going in it ever at all. But it's there should I need it.
Right.
All right, Dana. You're not always a fan of the time will tell bins, but what do you think here?
Actually, for clothes, I completely agree with you.
Okay.
Like, I feel like everything you said is true. Wherever you would look first for your stuff that, is not what you're wearing right now, that's where it should be. I will say, let's talk about kids' clothes in the same way. And that was where I really struggled because I was a garage sailor at the height of my clutter issues.
Yeah.
And I would buy all these cute clothes for 10 cents, when somebody was getting rid of stuff. And so having a set, because the issue, what y'all both said is that you have a defined container that is for those things, which then that's what frees my brain to say, I'm going to put my favorite things in first. And then that naturally sorts it out. And I'm willing, because by the time it's full, it's rarely ever full and I'm having to make hard decisions. So yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that.
And doing this whole exercise with kids is so important. I have teenage daughters and my son too. If they pull something out of their closet and it doesn't fit them, do you know what they do with it? They put it in the dirty laundry.
Yep, exactly.
They don't hang it back up. So I'm washing and washing. Like, we're doing so much laundry. Or it's just mess on the floor. It never gets hung back up.
Well, and Cass, I learned from you to have a donation bin right in our kids' closets. And I had to tell, my two daughters, they're 13 and 14 now. And they'd be like, oh, I can donate this. I'm like, you wore it one time.
I know.
It is like brand new. How could you think? What, in my mind, I'm just like, you have not worn that out. And I had to say, free pass, whatever you put in the donation bin, it's fine. I can't even hardly look at it because keeping it is not going to make them wear it. Now, once in a while, do I get veto power and I'm like, you're not wearing that to this family event? That's fine. I still have a little say, but 99% of the time, they're their own people. They know what they want to wear. And so I had to know when I just couldn't have influence anymore. And it's okay. Like, there's so much more freedom. And I want them to have a healthy relationship with clothing too. And I want them to. And one other question that comes up then, I wasn't even planning on going there, but I had a mom recently say, well, do you feel like your kids though are just kind of like, meh, I don't care. I did for just a little bit until they started spending their own money on toys and clothing. Changed everything. So don't worry so much about if your kids are just kind of like flippantly getting rid of things. We want to encourage them to do that. We don't want them to hang on so tightly to things. And when they start spending their own money on things, it is going to radically change their relationship with things. And so you don't have to worry so much that maybe you've gone too far and now your kids don't care about the stuff that they have.
Yeah. And with the stuff, when my kid wants to get rid of something and I wish that they would keep it, I have to remind myself that, okay, if I really want it to stay in my house, it has to go in my
Now it's your thing,
not theirs. I'm not forcing them to use their container space for this item that they don't have any attachment to.
Yeah.
And most of the time that will make me realize, well, I don't actually want to use any of my space on it.
Yeah.
So then I'm okay.
That's good.
But that's the thought process I have to go through is it important enough to me to put it in my own container?
Because as soon as we're like, oh, but what if you're gonna, and what if we're just oozing our anxiety on
Right.
them. We're teaching
That's
them
so
to
good.
be stressed about decluttering and they're gonna have clutter issues.
Yep.
Totally. Okay, so these are exactly the types of conversations we have inside the Take Your House Back course. We do tons of live Q&As. We do all day declutters where we do this. But Cass, you mentioned that you have a test to know if your closet is too full. So why don't you show us that quick?
Okay, a really quick tip to see if your closet is too full. It's like the one-handed tip. Pretend you're a pirate. Arr! And you have to be able to take out an article of clothing and put it back with one hand. If you have to scooch, you have too much.
And have you ever heard to do the thing where you like challenge yourself to wear everything in your closet too? And then at the end of the day, when you take it off, you either decide does it go in the hamper or does it go in the donation box? So.
Oh, wait, like Chandler from Friends or Joey where he puts every article
Yeah, you
of
put
clothing
everything on and then you do
squats?
lunges.
Is
Yes,
that
that's
what you
exactly.
mean?
That is exactly what I mean.
Okay, buddy boy, here it is.
That's not what you mean.
Take 2 seconds and flip all your hangers backwards. This legit will take you less than 5 minutes. And then as you wear your clothes, you just put them back normally, right? Not backwards. 6 months from now, any hanger that's still backwards, you know you don't use it. That's the data. You don't have to think, do I like this? Do I wear it? Does it look good on me? You obviously don't think that because the hanger's still backwards, so it's gotta go.
All right, well, we hope this was giving you some helpful ideas for your closet as well. Be sure to check out Cass's channel where we're talking about all about kitchens, and then also Dana's, we're gonna talk about your living room and your entryway and how to make that function so well, how to declutter it successfully. But like I said, we have so much fun together in the Take Your House Back course. There's something about the 3 of us bringing our decluttering methods together where you get the best of the best ideas, tips, accountability. Our next all-day declutter is coming up soon, so we absolutely want you to be a part of that. We'll put all the details down below, but I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and we'll see you again soon.